ask me, do I think that's good? And I say yes. A murderer should not be superior to the murdered person due to being a Muslim or a free person. Like, imagine that a slave master can kill a slave.
The murderer should not be superior to the murdered person due to being a Muslim.
No, it agrees exactly. Or being a free person while the murdered is a disbeliever or a slave. Accordingly, a Muslim is not to be sentenced to death in qisas for killing a disbeliever. Yes? To illustrate, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, no Muslim should be killed in qisas, legal retribution for killing a disbeliever, related by Bukhari and Abu Dawood. So, I know, to me that sounds like complete injustice, and it's not fair. I mean, come on, man. You wouldn't like that if we said that about you, is it?
Is it encouraging Muslims to go out and kill?
It's not encouraging it, but it's saying that there won't be equal punishment. It's saying that a non-Muslim life is worth, so much less than a Muslim life. And even it's saying that a slave's life is worth less than his master's. Like, come on, man. No, it's saying even if they're a slave. Like, is it okay if, like, a master murders his slave, that the master won't kind of get killed in qisas, but if the slave murders his master, he'll be killed in qisas? Isn't that oppressive? Don't you think? Sorry, I'll show you. Yeah, look here. You can read it again. See, that is, the murderer should not be superior to the murdered person due to being a Muslim or a free person, while the murdered is a disbeliever or slave. Yeah. So it's saying that kind of if you're a slave, if you kill a slave, then you won't be killed in qisas. And doesn't that seem wrong to you? Like, just because they're a slave?
But it's not encouraging.
Yeah.
You're just going to
No, but it's saying that there's not equal punishment, though. I agree, it's not encouraging. Yeah, I agree, but it's still bad, isn't it?
So that means these things never even happen in the end.
No, they will happen, though. Every society will have murder. Every society will have murder, won't they?
If it was, it would be rampant. For the Muslim lands where that means Islamic Spain would have never been on.
How do you know that there weren't murders in Islamic Spain?
No, but I'm saying it would have been rampant.
No, not
to the point where the Jewish historians and the Christian historians wouldn't have written.
No, that's not my argument. Man.
That's what I'm trying to say. You're trying to bring like the end arguments just to prove.
No, I'm not. No, I didn't say that. No, like where were you going first?
Through the sea.
Like, so I agree with you that it's not actively encouraged, but I still, it's still unfair and oppressive to have, like, slaves have less equal rights than masters, or non-Muslims have less equal rights than Muslims.
So my first question was, why did you go into, like,
yeah?
Why did you bring all the books here? Like, what was your reason to delve into, like, Islamic jurisprudence?
Yeah.
And what did you tell me? You said that,
because, like,
Sharia has an impact on people?
Yeah.
You gave a marriage example.
Yeah, a marriage is one example of how Sharia has.
Then you kind of diverted away from that because it doesn't really affect you.
Well, no, I did explain how marriage affects, but then I brought on to an even more grievous example. It doesn't affect me personally. But what? No, but come on, like, if I see something bad happening to someone else, I can say, hey, that's bad, even if it doesn't affect me.
Call that bad,
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
You still haven't provided evidence how this could cause a whole nation to be evildoers.
Okay, I'll give you another example.
I'm saying these laws put in place instead of democracy.
So,
so you come suited and booted.
Yeah. So Muhammad, like, there's a narration of a report that Muhammad said that when you meet a non-Muslim in a street, don't greet them first, and make sure to force them to the narrowest part of the street when you pass them. Okay. And I think that encourages discriminatory kind of nasty attitudes.
Does it?
Seems to me it does.
Why would it do that?
I'll try and find the.
No, I know that narration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, so you
ain't got a stamp shop on me. I know that narration.
Yeah.
I don't need to greet you first. Why?
But, like, isn't that just unfriendly? It's like it's fostering animosity.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I showed you. The Muslim and the non-Muslim are not the same. I told you that.
Yeah.
So if you understand that principle, then we move on from there. But if you don't understand it, then
well, I know. I don't see
that's
how
the principle.
I don't see how you can defend that, though, when you wouldn't like it if non-Muslims
said
that you're inferior.
It's already in effect.
Okay, let me just ask you, like, would you like it? Do you like it when when non-Muslims say you're inferior because you're a Muslim?
They can say I'm inferior, but
do you like it? Do you think it's a good thing?
They can say I'm inferior, but that's just words.
No, but do you like it? Do you think it's a good thing?
They can say that.
No, you're not answering my question.
They can say that.
That's not a
People
that's
can
not
say
an
anything.
answer.
You ask me, do I like it?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Do you think
I
it's
like
do you
it?
think it's a good thing for
Someone to say I'm inferior?
for a non-Muslim to just assume that all Muslims are inferior? Do you think that's a good thing?
Listen, people have their opinions, whether I like it or not.
Why are you dodging the question? Why are you tapped
If I like it or not, it's irrelevant. People have their opinions.
That's his question. He's
Pardon?
answered that question
What?
to you personally.
Do what?
So he's asked you, how do you feel when if someone wants to go that by being Muslim, you then automatically become inferior? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to, how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that?
Yeah.
No feeling.
So he says he doesn't care.
Okay. Well, okay. That seems weird. I know. I feel.
So you're expecting an answer to say, oh,
yeah. I think
don't care.
and I think that you're kind of wanting to avoid saying that it's a bad thing, even though
so
you
now
know
you're
that.
presuming, now you're presuming.
Yeah. I think that you don't want to say that it's a bad thing, because then I wouldn't be able to ask you like kind of to treat others the way that you would like to be treated. But you know,
I treat you respect anything. I never say nothing.
No, but
To
would
make
you?
the
So would
conversation
you?
flow more smoothly, because I can see what you're getting.
Yeah.
Have you defined what is actually superior? Does that make sense? So when someone says I'm superior to you, then you can actually break it down to a category, right? Meaning, I'm superior to you in running, and then we
Right.
can actually go, well, let's have a race and we'll see, right? So if you are the non-Muslim are superior to the Muslim, what is it that you're superior over the Muslim?
Okay. So to narrow it down, make it more
It makes it
specific.
more, because you might be able to talk better.
So okay, so do you like? I mean, do you think the life of a Muslim is worth more than the life of a non-Muslim?
In what context?
Just like if someone is murdered, do you think like that the blood money should be greater for a Muslim versus a non-Muslim?
I say whatever Islam says in the situation.
Well, like there's a difference of opinion amongst the scholars. What do you think?
Did you just say whatever Islam says in this situation? Now the thing with that answer is that could, what that's showing him is his faith, as he understands it, will dictate his answer. So he might not know the answer.
It's not no
there,
personal
is it?
opinion. I don't come and say,
So this is where you guys might differ, because
but that's what he wants me to get personal opinion. That's what he asks me.
Right.
Do I like? Do
Oh,
I
right,
like it?
right.
But that's irrelevant. Even if I give you yes or no, it's irrelevant. It's not what I like. You know what I'm saying? You want my personal opinion. I can't give you that. If you can keep asking questions to personal opinions,
What if there's
you need to appeal to Islam. What Islam says.
what if there's a difference of opinion among the scholars? How would you decide between them?
That's another route you can take down.
But like,
That's another route I could go down.
okay, so like in general, like the Hanafi kind of jurists would say that the blood money should be equal between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, whereas the other three schools would say that the non-Muslim is worth half in terms of blood money than a Muslim.
So what is your contention? Because
Here's what
narrow it down.
it's-
You wanted to narrow it down.
Just to make it make more sense for both of you, right? Maybe you should ask him why he cannot make a decision outside of what he believes his faith says. Because in that way you will have a further understanding of his psychology, right?
Yeah, okay.
So why is that? That might make the thing.
Yeah.
So are you asking that question?
Yeah. Why is that?
So first of all, I'm a Muslim, and a Muslim generally means to submit. So as a Muslim,
Now you submit to
Allah.
Yes,
and
you
He
got to
must-
make that clear. You got to make that clear, because you weren't making that clear, right?
Okay, yeah, to Allah, yeah.
There you go, because that's confusion, right?
Now some things are known, but anyway.
No, not literally. That's what I'm trying to say about some people don't know that, right? So he's saying as a Muslim, his interpretation is submit to the will of Allah, right?
Yes.
So that means that if he doesn't do what he believes Allah wants from him, what's going to happen?
Pardon?
If you don't do what Allah wants you to do, what's going to happen?
I may be punished or I may be forgiven.
See? Now, who's the most powerful being in the universe according to you?
Powerful being.
Yeah, the powerful thing, powerful entity. What's the most
Or the
powerful?
one who controls everything.
Which
Allah.
is.
Allah.
So can you see how the psychology works? So that's where the conversation will go with, because he honestly believes that if he goes against the will of his creator, he will be punished. So that means, for example, if Allah, this is a watch scenario, if Allah told you to kill yourself, what would you do?
Pardon?
If Allah told you to kill yourself, it's a watch scenario, what would you do?
If I told me to kill myself.
Yeah, if Allah said...
I see their questions, they're hypotheticals.
It's hypothetical.
Do you know why I don't
I'm
like
trying to
hypotheticals?
point to
Because people watching this might say, oh, this guy, they have a concept or like there's preconceptions about killing and stuff. So I feel like
no Muslim kills themselves. I'm not talking about suicide bombing.
No, that's what I'm saying. But
I'm talking about. You know, like,
there's a big audience. You can give a better example.
Okay, because I'm trying to do.
If Allah told you to give charity, you want to give charity, yes. But you want to give kill.
Muslims give charity all the time. This is like a normal thing. So let's do something that's more done. If you believe that Allah told you to eat pork, right? As in you particularly.
Yeah, but you know, see, these
you wouldn't do it.
I don't do these
hypotheticals.
Because it's actually clashing against what's known.
Right, but what I'm saying is...
I can't give you, yes.
But what I'm saying is you have a preconceived concept of what the Quran tells you, right?
Yes.
And you understand that at any point, Allah can do what He wants, right?
Yeah.
So if you believe that Allah told you to do something, and you believe it, I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's right or
I'll do
wrong,
it.
you would do it,
Yes.
right? So that's why I'm giving you the
Yeah, I know, but
analogy
you're
of war.
giving specific examples
Yes, because-
that contradict my faith.
No, but what I'm saying
You
is,
said it's hypothetical.
yeah,
I know,
it's
but
a
I'm saying the
hypothetical.
audience, they don't. Some people are reading between the lines. Wow, look at this guy,
And
the
this is what
Muslim.
we need to train
That's what I'm
people
saying.
to read the
And then bam, my face gets tagged. So I need to.
Yeah. First of all, we never want anyone to take you out of the room or do anything that might compromise your faith. That's wrong, right? What I'm saying is, you guys will never get to like part 2 of the conversation because I think, well, maybe you to him, you might not understand how he's.
Bro, my question is to him: why does he come to the part with all these Islamic texts,
Yeah, okay.
deep Islamic texts, not just basic?
And that's
like
good
deep.
though. That's good though, right? That he's got deep Islamic
No,
faith.
I don't know if it's good. I don't want to know what he's reading.
Oh, so and your answer to him was.
It may be good in the context.
Can't remember what it was. It was something like kind of, I thought, because like the laws, the fiqh, the actual Islamic laws, kind of, they actually have an effect on people's lives.
I was asking how.
Yeah, and then I gave an example of kind of divorce laws in Islam, and also I gave an example from kind of qisas, like an eye for an eye, and gave an example of like Muhammad being reported to have said like don't greet non-Muslims when they approach you unless they greet you first, and force them to the narrowest part of the road. So those are some
What does
examples.
that mean again? I don't know what does that mean?
It means like if you're walking down the street and like kind of a Jew comes up to you or like a Christian comes up to you, like you aren't meant to say like, oh hey, you're meant to wait for them to say hey to you, and only then should you say hey. Not like if it was a Muslim, then you could just say hey to someone as soon as
But
you
you know
want.
why that is? Because that's a very particular thing. There must be a motivation. There must be a logic behind that practice, right? Now I'm not gonna play angel's advocate.
That hadith, I don't.
I might not.
There's an explanation to it.
Yeah, and that's important, right?
It's referring to
No, but
giving salam.
why don't we ask? Why do you think they say that? From your understanding, that might be more interesting, right?
Well, like it's something that Muhammad's reported to have said. I don't know of him giving any other kind of comment, like any other explanation, like, oh, and the reason why you should do this is this. It seems to me like he just kind of gave this
Now,
advice.
Here's why. Now, I'm going to play angel's advocate, right? On the side of the Islamic faith. Let's just say that when they were writing the hadiths, they realized that Muslims were being persecuted, right? And people distrust Muslims, right? So he was saying that in order to make sure you know that someone's more genuine, rather than walk up and say hi to everyone who you don't know, wait for them to make the effort to you, and that way you can confirm that these people are more kind-natured because they've gone out their way to say hi to you, rather than you should go out your way to say hi to them, except for they're Muslim, because if you know they're Muslim, you know you correlate on the same kind of ideas and being peaceful. Now I'm being angel's advocate.
Yeah, like unless you have like sort of some evidence for that being the case.
Well, that's why when you ask questions, it's very good to actually like study like the context of why something is done. Yeah? And I think that, you know, but then once again, you guys are really operating on a completely different stuff because you can change your mind, you can't, because he's got the preconceived concepts, right? That he's
Change my
subscribed
mind
to.
or what though?
Well,
So you narrow it, you have to
well,
break that down.
meaning that once you're,
I can change my mind. I might not like butter. I might like jam.
but then I don't think like and butter might contradict your beliefs.
Oh, so you're talking about beliefs?
Yes, that's what we're talking ultimately. that's
You
what
have
it
to
is.
explain yourself, innit? You
That's
said-
true. That's correct. So I think with him, so for example, like, you could actually become a Muslim, right? Like there is a part. So in the psychology we are today, you could become a Muslim. But I suspect in the psychology you are today, you couldn't become a Jew. You see? So it's different psychology. And understand that, then you can cater your questions more to get a fruitful conversation.
Okay, there are other Muslims who kind of aren't of that opinion though, like because I was giving him alternatives
But
from
if you talk about
different
probabilities.
sort of schools of thought.
Oh,
yeah. So I was kind of like giving him some lee room within kind of Muslim orthodoxy. But
Every person is different, but when I speak to people, you look at how they present themselves, look at how they answer the question. So right, there could be a Muslim who say, yeah, if something is the truth, I follow the truth, and for me, Islam is the truth. So if Judaism was the truth, I'll be the truth.
Yeah.
But some people, because of how they sit in their community, by just saying that, they feel they might be compromising something, so they go, no, Islam is the truth. I'm not saying that's true, bro.
That
I'm just-
example you just gave, that means that person's religion is based on doubt.
Okay, see what he said? You hear what he said? You see, so can you see how the psychology
Yeah.
works?
But if
Yeah,
there's no
I
doubt,
see.
if there's no
But,
doubt, how can you change?
know,
No, so when you're dealing with information it's like this, it's like you, as a person, you might want someone to believe you are following the truth, right? And the truth, as you perceive it, is Islam, right? So you're saying because I follow the truth, yeah, I believe it is Islam. However, if the truth was Christianity, I'd follow it. It just so happens that the truth against Islam. You see? And so if someone says, could you ever be a Christian? You go, yes, if Christianity was the truth, I would follow it. But you would have to present information to demonstrate that it's the truth. But you wouldn't be like, no. You see what I'm saying?
That if doesn't even come to the question when we've already established.
No, but what I'm saying
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
you like give hypotheticals, but hypotheticals doesn't change the reality. You know what I mean?
No, that's why we have to.
If this and if that, but there's a reality as well.
Yes, but what I'm saying, these are personal.
If this is a football, I can kick this.
Yes.
But is it a football?
This is not a football at the moment.
And it will never be a football, innit?
But you can
so that if is irrelevant.
No, but you can explore the relevant logic using hypotheticals. You can see how the situation would play out.
No, you can't see. But this can never be a football. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
If this is a football, I can do kick-ups.
Right.
But this could never be a football.
Well, but it could be something you kick though, and it could be something you use as a football, right? As in, like, in the West Indies, they would basically get rubber bands tied together and bags and make a football. But we know that, you know it, right? Yeah, but you know that footballs are not made of rubber bands and plastic bags.
What
right?
we know is a football. This is not a football.
No, that's
what I'm saying. So that if in some situation, I know what you're saying. Some theories it works out, but when I'm saying my religion is not based upon doubt, that's what I mean.
Oh, no, of course, yeah. You have accepted.
But if there's doubt, that means someone say, I don't know, maybe there is not a God. One day, if the evidence gets brought to me, that's someone based upon doubt.
No, it depends how they present the information. If someone says, I follow the truth, and if you can prove to me that what you're saying is true, then I'll do it. But so far, as I understand it, this whatever the religion they are, is true. You see? Because is what you subscribe to is a belief.
Pardon?
Is it a belief?
Belief based on evidence.
You believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if something's a belief, then that means, at some point you are sustaining. What's the word? Give me the word. Yeah.
Sustaining.
What is it that you do? Because you believe something, right? Like you don't know something, you believe it. What's the word? Come on.
Faith or.
Yeah, it was faith, right? Yeah. So we understand that faith comes from belief.
No.
Oh, it's trust. It's trust, right? Belief can mean like trusting in something.
Yeah, trust in something, right? But it's like. The evidence that you have to have your faith is different from the evidence you have of knowing that a phone is a phone, right? It's a different thing. Because right now, every human, apart from ones who might suffer from issues, psychological issues, accept the reality of the phone, right? As in, they see it working and they go, okay, it works, and they can say this is a phone. But that's a very different acceptance of a religion. Because religion, you have to go, the text I'm reading, I believe this happened, and because I believe that happened, I'm going to follow this way of life.
No, but I'm saying there's empirical evidence, things that you can actually see as well that say, it points to why this religion is true or why this religion is false.
Yeah, but you could
equate
that to...
I'll wake up one day and say,
of course not. I will never say you do that. But the same evidence you bring forward, other people bring forward, and the only difference is they have different faiths, right? It's like, I believe this information is equated to my faith. So someone might say, I see a tree, and they go, that means that was made by a God. Let's just say that they say that, right? Yeah. And then someone goes, yes, that God, his name is Imran. They go, no, his name is, or her name is...
But the foundation has been established. They're just arguing over what the name is. But they all say it's a God.
Okay, but then you might get some people go, well, actually, it was a collaboration of gods, and those gods are called this or whatever, right? And then you go, whoa.
But that's what I'm saying. But the argument's still made. Something created a tree. That's what I'm saying. That's the logic. That's the logic I follow.
Yeah, I understand.
It's either was here, created, or it's uncreated. Earth. And you take two positions.
What does uncreated mean? What does that mean? How is something uncreated?
It's either was created or uncreated.
What does that mean to you?
It's always existed.
It's always existed.
So no one ever created it.
Infinity.
Right.
Or whatever.
Right. Okay.
And then you work from there. So it's not based upon just faith.
Right.
It's a.
It is still based on faith because it's like we are putting data in place. So we say that because the tree is there, it has to be made, right? Yeah. And maybe it does. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, we still don't actually see the path of when it was made. So we are still, faith that it was made. Even though it might look logical, we weren't necessarily there to see when the first tree was made.
What's the most logical route to take?
Well, this is the thing. That's why there's so many different people who bring forth evidence. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I really don't know. I'm one of the few people who actually I don't mind not knowing.
Like I know in your case, the Quran doesn't say kind of it says that believers should have belief. It talks about belief. It doesn't say know for certain. Like the Quran doesn't say. Where does it say like no for certain?
I'll pull up the verse, but it does say that.
Okay, yeah. I'm familiar with.
That's actually a part.
So
I'm
familiar.
That's actually a part of the testification of the Shahada. Yaqeen, certainty.
Okay.
So a Muslim, if he doesn't come with this, then
But we go because you were interested in why he had so much documents about Islam. Is that correct?
Yeah, because documents
Yeah,
about he was going into different branches of the Islamic sciences, but not even actually the foundation.
And your interest in Islam is because it affects people here.
Yeah, it can affect people's lives.
No, not
in positive and negative.
I don't mind if it's a positive impact, but like, yeah, so I care more about when it's a negative impact.
And what's the most negative thing that you've identified in this conversation?
Well, like, within this conversation, I think it's bad that you kind of think that non-Muslims are of inferior value to Muslims, and I think it's bad that you agree, for example, I think it's bad that you, well, like, in the sense, like, I gave you the example of qisas not apply, eye for an eye retribution not applying to a non-Muslim, so such as if a non-Muslim was killed, then the Muslim won't be killed.
You said there was difference of opinion.
Didn't you defend it?
No, I don't even need to subscribe to any of the opinions. You said there's a difference of opinion. One school says this, and one says that. So one school says it should be fair. So even if I said I subscribe to that one, that means you're debunked. Your argument's debunked.
No, but I'm trying to
if I say I subscribe to the one that says
Hanafi,
fair,
yes.
That means what argument you've got against me?
Well, like, it wouldn't be about you anymore. But you've already said that you agree.
You're appealing to my personal opinion.
I've shown you the actual book that it's taken from, and you said, yeah, this sounds okay.
I'm saying
so why now you're giving us hypotheticals?
No,
Which one do you actually believe in?
I'm saying you're appealing to my personal opinion, but I'm saying deal with Islam. Don't deal with me as a Muslim.
Okay.
You might say Muslim drinking and say, this don't mean nothing. Deal with what the evidence says.
Okay. Well, I know. No, never mind then.
That's why I said stick to the foundation.
Okay, there's one more.
Stick to the foundation. You're going to branches.
Okay, there's one more like a productive thing that we could talk about, which is are things good? Yeah, because, like, as soon as God says that they're good, they automatically become good, because God is capable of just choosing things to be good whenever he wishes. Or is it that God orders things because they're good anyway, and he can't sort of control what is good or not?
Well, first of all, I don't know who you're referring to as God, but...
Well, like, you're Allah.
Well, Allah, yeah. Well, people say God, but they're not talking about Allah, so...
Okay, Allah.
We're talking about Allah, the creator.
Yeah, the creator of the universe, yeah.
So, say that again now.
So, are things good, like, because Allah orders them to be, in that as soon as Allah orders something, it becomes good automatically, just because that's what he wishes? Or does Allah order things because those things are good, and Allah can't just sort of arbitrarily change what's good or what's evil as he wishes?
Well, I don't know the intention behind what Allah does, but Allah says he does what he wills. So if he wills to do something, I don't know why he wills to do something. You see an earthquake happen, I don't know why he does that, but that's his wisdom. But I just say he does what he does.
So do you think if Allah kind of descended and, like, told people, from now on, I want you. I think it's good to torture 100 babies a year.
Here you go with the hypotheticals.
No, but we can explore. But this is to show you the impacts of what we're talking about. Because if you believe that as soon as Allah says something is good, it automatically becomes good, then you would think that, once Allah says, it's okay to torture babies, you think, that's okay.
That have never happened. Give examples of stuff that Allah has said, and that's good.
Okay, so
still something that's established.
Well, there was still in the Bible where
that's gone somewhere else. Straight away, you've gone somewhere else.
No, but you do believe that all the books are connected?
No, you've gone somewhere else. That's another. We're not going to go on that topic.
Okay, fair. But
it
was similar.
So if you bring something from the Quran what says Allah has said this is good,
no, but I don't,
that's a better example rather than saying Allah descends.
I don't actually need to bring hypotheticals in order to pose this question about how goodness operates. Like, I've asked you, is it the case that Allah can make anything good as long as he orders it? Or is it the case that whatever Allah orders, like, Allah orders the good things because they're good, and he can't just decide what's good or what's not according to his wishes?
I already told you, Allah does what he wills.
I don't know the intention behind it. No, but are you saying that in that case Allah can make things good as he wishes? Yeah, so in that case you're agreeing that Allah could kind of descend tomorrow and say, like, I want you to torture some babies, and then that would become good.
No, but see, it's principles we go by. Allah doesn't oppress the people. So what you just said is an oppressive thing.
Okay.
So that's not from Islam.
Okay. So now
So
it sounds.
it goes against the original word of Allah.
What?
It goes against the original word of Allah that you would not.
Okay.
No, he's giving examples.
He would never
Okay.
say- he
So
would never-
can Allah change his mind?
These questions, these questions you can't get an answer from me because I don't even know the logic behind it. Can Allah change his mind?
Well, like, do you know what
How am I supposed-
you've heard of abrogation, haven't you?
Yeah.
So Allah can substitute something with something better, so he can change his mind.
Now you've changed.
No, abrogation's an example of Allah changing his mind, isn't it? Why not? Because, like, for example,
One thing from one time, and then
yeah.
something from the next time.
No, so initially, like, kind of, Allah said, kind of, don't get drunk, don't go to pray while drunk. Yeah.
Okay.
Then later he said, don't drink alcohol at all.
Okay.
So that's a difference from
let's get back
then
to the
to
point.
now.
That's the point. That
So-
might be a good point where he's raising it.
It's not a good point because he said we're talking about good and bad.
No, I think
no,
when
yeah,
he's
and
talking
so-
about changing rules, like
Yeah.
really tightening
As
up
long
rules.
as change
right?
what we can.
So,
That's
okay,
what
then you're agreeing that Allah could in the future.
No, I'm not agreeing with that.
Why couldn't he in the future
Because I'm saying
declare
there's
that?
principles you live by. You brought an oppressive thing.
Okay.
Changing from drunkenness to not drunk is not oppressive.
Okay, you've answered it then. Because if Allah can't be oppressive, then that must mean that there's an
No, it doesn't-
idea.
it doesn't
Yeah,
oppress.
then that must mean that there is an idea of oppression which exists outside of or independently or before Allah. It's not as if Allah, because like before it sounded like you could say, like you were saying, as soon as Allah wills something, it's good. Okay, as soon as Allah orders something, it's good. But if in fact kind of Allah can't order something oppressive, then that means that there's
It doesn't do oppression.
Okay, I'm probably not explaining myself clearly. Well, I know. But basically, you need to kind of
started off
read.
with
You
saying-
need to
you started
read Yerivmo's dilemma. Basically, it's kind of asking, does God order things that are good, or is it the case that whatever God orders becomes good automatically? That's the question that I think is important because
Do you believe in good and bad?
yeah, I believe in good and bad.
How do you establish what's good and bad?
Like I use moral principles like treat others the way that you would like to be treated. I think fairness is better than lies.
Emmanuel Kant.
Just like these moral principles.
But how
Like
can
try and increase happiness, try and reduce suffering.
Treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah, treat
So
others.
if I'm a bad person, I don't want to be treated bad. Should I treat others bad?
Yeah, so that would be like sort of pathological. So
No, wait. If I'm a bad person
bad people. Yeah, so
and
that
I would
might be
like
like
to
a
be murdered,
masochist.
can I murder people? Called
No,
theology.
that would be bad because that
But
would
your
also,
principles treat as you want to be treated.
no, but like there's also the principle like reduce human suffering, reduce human
Why?
harm.
Why reduce him? Why?
But like because
It might be good to me. It might be good for me.
Okay, and so the question you should ask me is like, what do I think are the source of those moral principles? And on the question to that, I'd say I don't know. Maybe
don't know.
maybe God put.
So me even
no,
asking
hold
questions
on,
of good
let
and
me-
bad
let
is
me finish
irrelevant
it.
for you.
And there are two possibilities. Either there is a God and he puts these moral principles in my heart, or kind of maybe like there is no God and people just evolved these behaviors out of human nature. So
What's your one?
I'm not sure. And I don't think there's enough evidence to conclude whether kind of God exists or God doesn't exist.
So that means there's no good or bad there.
No, it doesn't mean that.
So establish
No,
good and bad for me. Because you're asking me, does Allah do good, but you don't even know what good is.
So let me show you, like, if you think that there can't be any good and
not
bad
what
without God,
what I think.
then we can show that this thinking is fallacious by asking, let's say God descended tomorrow, let's say, and then he said, kind of, I no longer attach any moral significance to the actions of human beings, okay? If that happened, would you suddenly think, oh, it's okay to murder now, it's okay to steal now? I'd submit no, because there is good and evil independently of whatever God says or whether he exists.
Can you prove that good and evil? That's what we're
Well,
trying to establish.
I think that thought experiment kind of shows it. As
No, that's just a thought.
Okay, no.
I'm talking about the reality.
Okay.
You said good and bad.
Yeah.
You're talking about physical things, good and bad.
Okay. Well, like,
I'm talking about you're bringing theories. I'm talking about what's good and bad right now.
well, like, I
If
think
I
it
slap
would.
you right
I
now,
think
is
it
that
would,
good?
No.
But it feels good for me though.
Well, like you should.
And I'm treating
no,
you how I
but,
want
yeah,
to be
but
treated.
You want to be slapped?
No, you,
Yeah. What if I want to be slapped? Or someone wants to be
do
slapped?
you really?
So now you lot are thinking that preconception that we have to feel like you're thinking.
Do you think that
if
we
I want to
should
be punched in the
reduce
face,
human suffering?
I do believe that
there's people that actually want to be punched in the face. So I punch you in the face.
Yeah, well, I don't subscribe to good and bad concept. So
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm just trying to show that where his flaws are coming from.
No, but
he asked
I'm
me,
saying that there's also a
what does
principle
Allah,
of reducing
how does Allah decree
human
good?
harm.
But he doesn't even know what good is.
No,
So me answering that is it's irrelevant. Because you don't even know what good is.
No, of course I do.
You're bringing theories. If God came down and took away all morality, what would you do then?
Yeah,
Listen,
you should have a think
what's
about that. That's an
reality right
important
now?
question.
No, it's not about thinking about that. I can think about that.
Yeah,
But I'm
because-
dealing with right now. What's happening right now? What is good right now? Before that theory came to head, what's good right now?
I think what he's asking is if a deity came down and a
No,
fish,
but I'm saying,
hold on, let me finish
I know what he's
this
saying.
up. And he said, okay, you can do what you, all the things before, the rules are now gone. How you live is how you live.
Yeah.
Would you say attack and harm people, or would you feel that is a wrong thing to do, so you wouldn't do it? I guess somewhere online he's trying to get.
How would I know?
Well, this is
Yeah.
for me personally. These are interesting conversations.
It is
right?
interesting. I
But
understand what you're saying.
obviously you
but-
might not be compatible
but
with his way of thinking.
He's
and vice versa.
coming from a place where he's answering a question that he's based his.
I feel you have a fear, and in the sense of
Yeah, but-
you've expressed this all like you don't want to be marginalised from the group you're from, and you don't want to see that you're putting your own opinion in textual, historical. That makes sense, right? Because you will be shunned.
Fair
right?
from what?
Well, a fear from your community, a fear from the higher powers, right? If you are inaccurate, right?
not necessarily.
You're not scared of higher powers.
It's higher powers.
Yeah, like
You
Allah.
don't use these languages.
Do you not fear Allah?
Yeah, I do.
Well, so
Sure, I do.
there you go, right? So obviously, if you misrepresent Allah, that's a fearful thing to be participating,
No
right?
doubt about it. Allah says don't speak about it without not knowing.
There you go. And so you have to understand who you're talking to.
Okay.
No, but that's not his question though.
Well,
His question, he's trying to give a question, trying to prove something, but in there is a fallacy. He's saying, does
Wait.
Allah decree good? But he can't establish what good is.
Good is, yeah,
So
that's
me
the point.
answering that is a whole different
But can't
topic.
we-
I think you just go to the dictionary and find out what good
For him,
is.
for him to prove what good is,
No, can't we agree on whether a particular thing is good? Okay.
Agree.
So we could I could present a particular thing like giving money to orphans.
Yeah.
I could present this and you could ask me, do I think that's good? And I say yes. And I'd ask you.